I'm super excited. Hi, everybody. It's Colette Baron-Reid for the month of June. We're doing the Astro Oracle reading, and I have invited my dear friend, fantastic astrologer, Debbie Frank from England, who is going to add her take to all the Astro Oracle readings that we're doing for each sign. So I'm going to just explain quickly what we're going to do in case you're brand new to the channel. So what I do every month is I kind of look at a weather report as to what are the main themes for each sign, but you get a very detailed report because let's say you are an Aries with Sagittarius rising and Virgo moon, you will watch the Aries card, the Sag card, followed by the Virgo card. So you're going to get 3 of these qualities to watch out for in the month. And the why I'm doing this is to say, like, what can best support you to be your best self, to have the best experience in the month of June? That's really the question. And the cards will tell you, and they're very, very accurate. But I've invited Debbie, since we love to work together. So she's going to give her.
We do.
Across
the pond. Here I am in London. Yeah.
Very excited. I know. Okay, so let's start with Aries. So this is again for the month of June. What does Aries need to know about their experience? Now, we got soulmates from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Now, soulmates can be romantic, but it's really about having these deeper, more meaningful relationships with yourself too, with others, and with your higher power. So, and this is also the month for you to trust that friends are going to be impacting your life in a really positive way. So for those of you who are Aries in the month of June, this is a great time to connect with other people, to see your friends, to start a new relationship, to deepen one you're already in, but also to remember that you are always in a relationship with your soul, your higher self, your higher power, and that needs to be active this month. What do you say for Aries?
Well, that sounds absolutely great. Well, for Aries, of course, all the Gemini energy that's here in the earlier part of June is amazing for communication. So we need to be communicating to other people and getting our own communication and head in the right space with ourselves as well. After the solstice, which takes place on the 20th of June, the sun for Aries, is moving into the most personal realm of your chart. It's much more about home and family. So again, it's about, chilling out with your loved ones, feeling great and comfortable in your own space, having a great relationship with yourself. Yeah, absolutely. That ties in.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now let's take a look at Taurus. Again, we're looking at the month of June. How do you experience it at the best that you can? And how do you make the most out of the month of June? And what do you have to watch out for if there's anything? So for Taurus, this is interesting. It's about overindulgence. So milk and honey, it's to guard against overindulgence. And it may be that you might feel a little ungrounded this June, that you feel best when you are going slower and when you know what's what. You're not the best with uncertainty. So there's a level of, just a bit of uncertainty there. And you want to make sure that you're not overindulging in such a way that you're using, let's say, either food, drink, distracting yourself online, so that you're not dealing with what's really going on for you, which is a real need to be grounded. So that's what for Taurus, and that's for Taurus rising or moon. What do you have to say?
Yeah, well, Taurus is an earth sign. Well, of course, you've been playing host to Jupiter for the last year. It's only just at the end of May moved into Gemini. And Jupiter is about, often wanting to consume more. So that might have become a bit of a default setting for you. And during this month of June, it's really much more now that Jupiter isn't in your sign, coming back to that place of high self-esteem, high self-worth, but Mars is coming into Taurus. Mars is the action planet. So from June the 9th, Mars is going to be with you. I'm not saying that sounds grounding, but it's asking you to do a lot. So,
Right.
you know, you're going to have to be quite purposeful with it. And it's with you through till the 20th of July. That's really quite a long time. So you're going to be go-getters, Taurus. And you do have to stay grounded in order to go get those things that are really worth having, don't you think?
Yeah, I love that you said that, because I was trying to get the right words out too, because it was just more of a warning that a lot is happening, right?
Yeah.
And you want to make sure you're also giving yourself time to regroup so that you don't distract yourself by all the things, right?
Yeah.
And I love what you said, to be purposeful about the things. You know,
Absolutely.
make a list.
Tick off goals with Mars. That's the thing. Tick them off your list. Yeah.
That's right. I love that. Okay. This is for Gemini. Now, Gemini is about community. So this is, again, a little different than the Aries card, which was really about the connections and fostering them and getting your communication very clear with the people you love, etc. This is really about getting out and about and serving in, like, what do you need to learn and what do you want to teach, in a way, by being yourself, because you can't do this by yourself. So this is a we month for Geminis. It's about us and people.
Yay.
Getting out and doing things. It's very social. What do you say for Gemini, Debbie?
Oh my goodness. Well, Gemini, honestly, you could be really spreading yourself thin, but in a good way, because with Jupiter just recently coming into Gemini, this is so life enhancing. And it's really one of the sort of most fortunate and expansive, heart opening times of your life, the best one in 12 years. And you've got Jupiter with you all the way through until June 2025. So come into this June, and think that there you are, basking in these June vibrations. And, you know, they are about kind of opening up to other people, opening your life up to, you know, what's next, what else, all of that. But aside from that, I have to say the first week in June is one of the best weeks of the entire year, particularly for Geminis. And that's because the Sun and Venus, that goddess of love, meet in your sign, and Mercury and Jupiter meet in your sign, and they are in a beautiful alignment with Pluto in your fellow air sign of Aquarius, which is so self-empowering. I mean, honestly, you are flavor of the month, Gemini. You've got it.
Love it, right? I mean, yes, it was feeling like you could go out and have a big party and expect everyone to come.
Yeah. And there's a Gemini new moon. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Love that. Okay, now let's take a look at Cancers. So Cancer is about cleaning it up in June, making order. It's also about, like, tying up loose ends from the past. So you might have gotten some really big ideas and great ideas, you know, when the Jupiter and Uranus transit hit or whatever. And now it's about, okay, how do we actually plan for these things, as opposed to just, you know, let them be everywhere. You know, like this is not the month to be scattered. So clean it up is also about making amends and just making final touches on things, right? That's the other piece. I think it's really important to finalize things in June. It's interesting because I'm a Cancer. In June, this month I'm launching my new Oracle card deck with all my own art on it. So I am doing a lot of that polishing.
Getting ready.
Yeah. So what do you see for Cancer?
Well, absolutely. I mean, always at this time of year, which is the month before your birthday season, shall we say, it is that completion of the old cycle. And you as a Cancerian, you know, you're in your shell, you're out of your shell, you're in the water, you're on dry land. So you do this kind of back and forth. But at the moment, it's about really being able to go inside, being a bit internal until Cancer season starts. Then it's a completely different ballgame. But for now, in these early days of June, the first half, let's say, you know, you have to really pay attention to your inner world. But a date for your diary is the 17th, when Mercury and Venus both come into Cancer to a fanfare, and suddenly, well, you're way out there, out of your shell, big time, and you know it's really going to be partying and enjoying yourself. Of course, summer solstice coming up, and that's when the sun moves into your sign on the 20th, and then there's a full moon in the relationship sign for you in Capricorn on the 21st, 22nd. So It's literally a month of two halves, I would say. So have a few Zs, catch up with yourself and all that you need to do in the first half, ready to kind of launch yourself into an unsuspecting world in the second half.
I love the way you put that too, the idea for that, and I never even thought of that every year, in June, prior to Cancer season, there is a conclusion of the previous year, right? Because we think it's January is the beginning of the year, but that's really true. Tying up the loose ends of the past, etc. And I love that you said on the 17th, things are going to be good, because on the 18th is my pub date, and I'm going on Gabby Bernstein's podcast on the next day.
Amazing. You're going to be on fire. Amazing.
That's so good. Okay, this is great. Okay, now let's take a look at Leo. And what does Leo? And again, remember, when we're talking about this, we're talking about the sign, but also that storyline also fits your rising sign and your moon, right? So for example, if you had Cancer, let's say you were Aries, right? And then you had a Cancer ascendant or Cancer moon, we would be talking about the same stories still apply to you.
That's
okay, let's
right.
Leo. Leo is about regeneration. So this month it is about resurrecting what was lost in the past in some way, or something that you had to lay dormant or you had to put it aside. It's a sign of you're starting to feel better about yourself. There's starting to feel more life in you. I'm not sure what that's going to mean, because each person will be different. It could be that you resurrect a project. It could be that you just feel a new growth coming through you, and you are that person that you've been thinking about becoming, and you realize all the work you've done has brought you there. So this is a very hopeful month, this June, for Leos. What do you say, Abby?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mars is coming onto your midheaven, which is a really important place for thinking about how you interact in the world in terms of your goals, your ambitions, your projects, putting yourself out there. So June, July is major for that, for some kind of reset, relaunch, getting in front of people. The second half of June, when a lot of the planets start sliding into Cancer, of course, they go into a sort of quieter backwater of your chart. And this feeling that, you also need to clean up the past in order to get this best possible footing in the outside world. So you're doing a lot of this around the full moon, which is going to be 21st, 22nd of June, where you're kind of going between those mundane tasks that, kind of make your wheels go round in your world, and spiritually getting yourself all together, mind, body, and spirit, so that you can make the most of this presentation that you're going to do, the wow factor.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I love that. And yeah, it's like pruning the tree. Also, cleaning things up is pruning. Like growth happens when you prune the tree too.
Absolutely. Get a better crop.
Okay, so this is for Virgo. Now, Virgo is about making amends, and it's in a protection position. So it's about recognizing that not all amends can be made. So this is, and amends can be with yourself. So self-compassion, we know that Virgos tend to be self-critical and critical of others, or, but also because you want the best, you're the perfectionist, right? But, and looking for the sacred, but this is also reminding you that, you're not responsible about how anyone else receives you. This is about you being very authentic to yourself, and knowing that you are in alignment with what you say you want, and recognizing that even if you are trying to make changes, not everybody is going to go along for the ride with you, and that's okay.
Interesting. Yeah. Super interesting how that tallies with the astrology, because once we get into Cancer season, then all of these planets are moving into the people angle of your chart. And then you get to see, Virgo quite enjoys that, because they're, a sign that enjoys the moving parts. Who fits in, how can we make things all perfect? So it might be about letting go of the perfectionism of that, and some imperfection is actually equally beautiful. It's okay. As Colette said, you're not responsible for everyone else's reactions and whatever they've got going on. But, yes, you can still be part of something, which is a great thing. I think what you need to bear in mind with Mars in this much more expansive zone of your chart is to sort of be starting to ruminate and mull over, you know, where do I want to move into in terms of a long-term trajectory? It doesn't have to happen right now, but sort of, you know, looking to see what could develop over the next 12 months, 18 months, for instance, and have a look at, you know, who's in your network, who's in your hive, who's in your tribe, you know, and whether you feel that all of these frequencies, because the minute we get around other people, we're meshing with their frequencies. You know, is this a vibe that jives, or is it jarring? I mean, how does it really feel, Virgo? So it's going to be an interesting month for you.
Yes, I love that. All right, let's look at Libra. And again, remember, we're looking at sun, rising, or moon. Observer. So Libra is about watching this month. So this is about not taking the world personally and being in that observer position, the witness self, where you are kind of taking a step back to observe how far you've come, where you fit in your life story, and the relationships that you have with others this month in June. Really you're starting to recognize, like, which are the ones that I want to keep, you know, and grow with, etc., and which are the ones that have, you know, that have their expiry date. I think that's also key to remember that none of this is personal. This is more about your willingness for personal growth and transformation, and also you like fairness. So the only way you're going to get there is not by is literally by stepping back to observe first before you make your changes in July. What do you say about that?
I think it's really tough for Libra with that premise that they want everything to be so fair. But of course, life is not fair, as we know. It's inherently unfair. But that doesn't stop you wanting it to be fair, which is a good thing, like fighting for justice. Yeah. But again, to sort of recognize that sometimes things don't really add up perfectly. I think the most important time for you in July is going to be around this full moon, which is in Capricorn.
In June.
Sorry, I meant June. Sorry. I mean June. 21st, 22nd, because we're looking at this full moon and it's in Capricorn, which is opposite the sun, which would have recently moved into Cancer. And Capricorn, of course, is the mountain goat. As Colette said, you're taking the view on your journey. You're having a look, you know, how far have I come? And that's exactly what you need to do to ascertain, you know, do I want to keep slogging up a mountain, or can I just enjoy the view for a bit? I mean, don't forget, Libra is a sign of beauty. It might be a gorgeous vista out there. Don't miss out on just taking that in and enjoying how far you've come. So that's all about the balance, really. And I think it's a balance between your personal life and your more sort of purposeful goals. So that's where you need to get those scales working in your favor, I would say.
Love that. Love that. Okay, so now let's go to Scorpio. Scorpio has chaos and conflict. So this is more the observance of it. It doesn't mean that you're bringing in chaos and conflict in the month of June. It's that you are very aware of it and you're not interested. Like that, it's like you kind of look at it and go, I'm going to decide if I'm going to participate or not. But at the end of the day, it's about being the center of the storm and observing it from that perspective rather than jumping into the fray, in which case you aren't going to get what you want or need. So this is more about that kind of surrendering to what is in terms of whatever chaos or difficulties that surround you, but they aren't necessarily generated by you or directed at you either. So this is more about how much of this do I want to identify with? And it's kind of like, how much of this am I going to actually participate in? You're going to have a choice to make this June. What do you say, Debbie?
That's fascinating, Colette, because that really does completely add up into this idea of all the Gemini planets in the early part of June are in the Scorpio house, the 8th house, which is, you know, a bit of drama, transformation, but it can also be crisis. We don't mean it has to be a massive full-blown crisis. I mean, some people, definition of a crisis is breaking a fingernail, don't forget. So it's with how you take it, right? And as Colette said, it's about, you know, to what extent do I want to replay old dramas? Can I make different choices? See this, for, you know, as Marianne Williamson would say, you know, a miracle equals a change in perception. You know, if I perceive this thing differently, then hey, I've got a miracle on my hands, and we can have a transformation in an area of my life which is a bit challenging. So that might be good. I don't think it's a problem for you, Scorpio, because you're a sort of scorpionic vibration, and the 8th house is really not a problem for you. You can just dig a bit deeper, find the treasure, and come up with something that will really help you through. I think it's going to be amazing.
You know what else I was thinking too, like if there's any Scorpios starting new things in June, for example, that's a bit chaotic in itself, right? So it's like something new also brings change. So I think that we forget that change requires us to meet it. And right. And so it'll unearth certain things, like moving can be traumatic. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Even if it's really what you want. I mean, that's the thing for a Scorpio that could be on the cards during this time, you know, this kind of thing, whether you're really making a move and packing up boxes or making some kind of psychological move. There's lots of different ways we make moves in our life. But, you know, moving is your thing this month.
Love it. All right. We are now looking at Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius is a fork in the road in protection. Now, this means that you have to make a decision. You cannot overindulge in June and be like stressed out because you don't know what to pick, right? It's really important to make any move. And it's because you can, for some reason, I know that Debbie will have a better understanding of the astrology piece, but it could be that you're kind of so stuck that, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know what move to make because there's too many choices in front of me. But it says take any action. Any action is better than none. So now is the time to get unstuck, even if it is literally making a move in the wrong direction. It's a matter of is getting out of where you are to make even the most minuscule change, which then can change everything. So you come into this month with some stuck energy. That could be anything from psychological stuck energy to actual things not working out, or things take too long, or you're like unclear about the direction you need to go in. There's a lot of chaoticness in terms of the plethora of choices. It's not chaos and conflict like the Scorpio. It's the plethora of choices can make you feel so overwhelmed you sit down and don't pick any.
Right. Yeah, well, that's interesting because, you know, there's so much Gemini energy, which is your opposite sign, Sagittarius. And that means that these other choices might be in the form of what other people want as well. And it's like, oh, I'm going to be distracted because you think this or you want that. More than one person in this mix, even, you know, how do you please everyone? And normally, Sagittarius, you don't think twice. You know, you're very much a sign that just goes with your gut instincts, but you've got a lot of people in your mix here. So it's about, you know, talking to them, but not getting overwhelmed by all of their viewpoints. And as Colette says, you know, I think you need to make that move. And as early as the 6th with the new moon is saying, come on, let's, you know, put our stake in the ground here and, you know, start making that choice. I think once we get into the Cancer season, it's, you know, about working it out between you and other people, whether that's financially, emotionally, you know, all of that stuff. There's some kind of financial decision that's coming up around the full moon, which is the 21st, 22nd. And, you know, this will just give you the result or give you the answer, which is great. You'll feel better.
Love it.
I mean, people are for you because Jupiter is there. Jupiter is in your 7th house, so that, you know, you are with the right people. It's just that you're perhaps not used to taking on board so much about what's going on for them, right?
Right. Okay, so Capricorn, well, you have an imagination that's getting lit up. this month. And whether it's because you're starting to see more people, maybe you're more social and you've got ideas because you are exposed to more ideas from other people, etc. But it's a really fabulous creative month for Capricorns. It's like you've gone up the side of the mountain and you looked around and went, oh, look at what else I see. So the opportunities are coming out of the blue. It's better that you might have imagined it, but never knew how it was going to come. And now it gets revealed this month. So this is an interesting month for Capricorns. What do you, especially at the end?
Yeah. I love this. Well, I think in this sort of Gemini part of this month of June, you're very busy kind of sorting out, organizing things. And then from the 17th, when Mercury and Venus move into Cancer, your relationship zone, well, for a lot of mountain goats, it could be feeling quite loved up. Yes. And then you get your full moon. This is, the full moon on the 21st, if you're in the States, 22nd, if you're in the UK, that full moon in Capricorn, which gives you a really powerful sense of self. I mean, I love it. I think that this is about you being able, instead of, always being management, and putting yourself at the back of the queue and, sort of waiting with a bit of delayed gratification. It's going, the moon is full in my sign. This is what I want. And that's going to feel pretty good, I think.
Yeah, it looks really good. Okay, now we're looking at Aquarius and then Pisces. So Aquarius, now that's interesting. So you may actually be not too happy with how slow things could be taking for you, because you feel this push for things to be quick and big and change and like, whoa, and now you're second guessing yourself. So don't second guess yourself this month. I think you might be behind enemy lines, Aquarius, this month, which normally would think like a Gemini season would be incompatible with the Aquarius personality, but it says the regeneration is in the protection position, which is about slow movement, recognizing that growth doesn't happen overnight. And even though you have these giant epiphanies, they may not manifest as quickly as you want. So it's really more about trusting the cycle. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, I think you enter June with this very sort of playful, creative mindset. So yes, of course, that's feeding your imagination, your vision of what you want to happen. However, with the planets moving into your 6th house, which is all about, doing things one step at a time, not doing it Aquarius style. You've got to manage the moving parts. This is all about mind, body, and spirit. And then the full moon is in your 12th house, which is quite a reclusive, secluded position. It's a time to really meditate, to kind of withdraw a bit, for Aquarians to, kind of do your own thing rather than be, pushing everything forwards. So a bit of retreat might do you the world of good, actually, and then you'll come back stronger and better. So yeah, absolutely. I agree.
This is so much fun. I love doing this with you. I hope you guys like this too, because this is fun. So Pisces, it's all about being flexible this month, and you don't have too difficult a time with that. You're a mutable sign. You can go with the flow. You are a Pisces. You are the fish, right? So there's a level of a quality of resilience that you're noticing that you actually have, and that you actually have the flexibility you didn't think you did have before. If you say like, I would never do that, but then you get there and go like, oh, that's just kind of interesting. So like, it's being willing to try new things and with other people involved. It's also about other people. It's also saying like not to isolate as well this June. The end of the month feels easier for you somehow, but the beginning of the month, it's a lot of activity, and you just have to kind of like let other people lead in some way, especially in social situations, and just be flexible about how you manage them. What do you see, Debbie?
Yes, I think for Pisceans, during the Gemini part of the month, the earlier part of the month, it's very much about the inner you. So yes, just handing the reins over to other people would be great. You can just shut your front door if you like, and you know,
I'm going. Oh, I'll meet you there.
and then if you do that, you'll find on the 17th and again on the 20th, this very fun, vibrant, creative energy starts coming into play. You're going to feel much more sociable. And I have to say that the full moon for you, which is on the 21st, 22nd, is total party central. If you haven't got your invitation, then throw one yourself, because it really is a full moon time for you. Don't miss it. Don't miss out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Okay, so everybody, if you don't know your chart, go to astro.com, just put in your birth data there, and it will tell you your sun sign, your ascendant, and your moon, and you'll get a really unique little story of those three things that are influencing you for this month. Now, all of them, sometimes they sound a bit contradictory, but when you get to the month, you realize, oh, this and that was true at the same time. So you'll get a little bit more intimate reading than my general energy report for the month of June. Debbie Frank, you are awesome. I love doing this with you. We have to do this.
Fun?
Yes.
It's so great. Yeah, it's really cool. And yeah, do have a look at my Substack. If you're on Substack, take a look at Debbie Frank, because I'll be sending out a lot more detail astrologically about what's going on this month.
Love it. And also debbiefrank.com, or is it .co.uk?
No, .com.
Yeah. .com.
You can get in touch with me and book a reading.
I get a reading
horoscopes
twice a year. Most accurate ever. I'm just saying.
Oh, you are sweet.
Well, I mean, you freaked me out. She's very good. Anyway, okay. And she's got a wait list, so get on that list. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Thank
and
you.
if you people all love this, and you love having Debbie on, let me know. Let me know, because we'd be love to do this again together for you. I think it's always great to have the two together, the cards and the
fun, isn't it?
Yeah, right. It's a lot of fun.
I wish you